Hey everyone. Let's have a discussion on NFTs. Since they're all the rage today, that's sarcasm. Okay, so as you may or may not know, there's been a lot of heat given to Star Trek and Paramount for going all in on these NFTs with Star Trek Continuum. Most people think NFTs that understand them are a grift. I am, at this point, tend to agree with that. They serve no purpose or value in today's society. Let's go a history lesson. Let's go back a few years into this old video site called Vine. You could make 5-second videos. Really cool, very popular. Flopped commercially because you couldn't monetize it. Imagine if Vine had found a way to at least survive till today. Twitter would be bigger than TikTok. Vine was just too early to the game. And that's kind of what I feel with NFTs. Now, let's put the environmental concerns and all that stuff to the side for a moment. That's a big problem too. I feel like NFTs are just way too early. They are trying to solve a problem in the consumer space that doesn't exist yet. As we all have seen and heard, when Facebook renamed their parent company to Meta and all that good stuff, that the metaverse is coming. And you're asking yourself, what the fuck is the metaverse? It's a digital reality. So, I work in engineering and manufacturing. One of the big things that's coming is called the digital twin, where you basically have a digital representation of whatever you're building. And when I mean representation, I mean down to the nitty-gritty, to where you can literally model maintenance activities. So you don't end up buying a Ford that you can't remove the oil filter because someone decided to put a support strut directly underneath it. I.e., in a digital twin, you'll be able to model that in a virtual environment and be able to tell, hey, I can't get my arm in there. Digital twin. It's going to cost a lot up front in engineering, but overall life cycle costs for anything, it should make those costs plummet. We'll see. Now, going back to what does it have to do with an NFT? NFT is a digital representation of something. But right now, it's a digital representation of nothing. There is no real life counterpart. When the metaverse really gets going and it's really something that everyone buys into, in other words, everyone that hasn't been born yet buys into, an NFT would be something that you could buy as a collectible and place on your virtual living room wall. Not that dissimilar to the way you would buy art today. Except it's just electrons. So that's why I'm thinking NFTs are too soon. There is no proper place to display them. Gawk about them, see them. Oh yeah, I bought it and I'm going to print a picture out and print it on the wall. I'm like, that defeats the purpose. And you're like, what purpose? That's the point. There is no purpose right now. I think when the metaverse really gets kicked off, if it does, then this conversation will change a little bit. I think there could be a path to onboard to that, or a middle ground right now, or say tree topper, big tree topper. So just the Enterprise. So now think about this: if they made 10,000 limited edition ones that had unique registration number on it. Probably not NCC, but just something ABC-1234. And they made 10,000 of them. They could have a digital twin representing each of them. That's unique. That's connected to the blockchain. That would be the digital representation of this physical object. I could see that being as a middle ground. And I could see, if you want to display it in the living room, you could use like an e-ink display. Like the ones they're starting to roll out in big box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, because lumber prices have been so wildly fluctuating throughout the pandemic. They actually had to put digital signs. And those digital signs aren't plugged in. You have to go by with a scanner, plug it in, and it takes a moment to refresh the screen. So it uses basically no power. It's not constantly plugged into Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything like that. So I think you could use a digital e-ink or whatever technology is being used behind those signs to display your NFT in a picture. But that still doesn't sound right. But yeah, I could see using an NFT as a certificate of authenticity for something physical that just happens to have a digital twin that goes with it. Now, NFT is weird. It stands for non-fungible token. And you're going like, what the heck's that? Non-fungible means you can't change it. Token essentially means ID. When you're going to buy a car, no one says, I'm going to go buy a VIN. When you're going to go buy a cell phone, no one says, I'm going to go buy an MEID. No one says this. But that's what we're saying every time you say NFT. You're not talking about the actual digital item. You're talking about the certificate of authenticity that's attached to it. That's the token and the blockchain. Which is a really weird way of looking at it. To the fact that we can't even come up with a real name for it might be a clue that they're not ready yet. Okay, let's talk about the environmental problems. As we all see with blockchain technology, when trying to commercialize this, the only thing that's really been successful from a consumer basis has been crypto. And successful is open to opinion. The environmental impacts of, say, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that require mining, proof of stake, to actually get value out of it. Man, some of those Bitcoin farms, they're worse than a greenhouse. It's crazy how much energy they can use. Especially when you're talking about the upcoming NVIDIA RTX 4000 series, which could be pushing 600 watts off the 4090 Ti. Whew. Which is, I guess, almost double what the currently is, the 3090 Ti. That's crazy. So yeah, there are a lot of environmental concerns, and it's not like we are doing something like distributed processing to come up with a cure for cancer or something. We're minting numbers. There's got to be a better way of doing that that doesn't need electrical energy that's being produced by coal and oil and gas. I mean, with the whole Star Trek NFT fiasco, some of the stars have come out, and it really sounds like they're reading their putting out their tweets that are been written by someone else. Like, I've done my research, blah, blah, blah. It's a level 2, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if they know what they're talking about. I barely understand it. And I've done blockchain research for manufacturing purposes to see if it can use, and it can definitely be used in that purpose without having to worry about the environmental costs and everything, because we're not worried about value. So yeah, blockchain and that kind of stuff definitely has industrial, manufacturing, banking uses that are very good, especially for chain of custody, improving ownership, and legitimacy. When we try to attach a capitalist value to it, it falls apart. Now, Star Trek could have went out and did something a little different, where, yeah, they said they're using, it's a level 2 chain, Polygon, I think it's Matic is the coin. But it's powered by level 1, which is Ether. Problem. Now, there's a lot of things in the Ethereum ecosystem, and I think Ethereum is switching eventually to a different proof of concept, but don't quote me on that. I didn't do any research for that. But I'm wondering if Star Trek could have did something different and made their own blockchain, and something that's powered by solar or something, or wind or water or whatever. Something that doesn't have the environmental impacts, that's essentially green as we can be today. If they really wanted to, they could just get a bunch of bikes, and at every conference people sit on the bikes to create the power to do it. I mean, you could have did some things. People are ingenious, and a lot of Star Trek fans are very environmentally concerned. I am too. I think that would have been a good jumping stone into it, ignoring the fact that it's still just a bunch of electrons that you can't display anywhere. This past weekend, or within the last week, they rolled out their first limited edition NFTs and everything, and the sale flopped. I think they made a little over $2 million of the just under $4 million max they could have. Which for an NFT sale is not good, but that seems to be the trend lately, is that it is kind of falling apart. People are starting to wise up to, like, what am I doing with this? And I guarantee of the 8,000 or so people that bought them, it's not 8,000 unique people, is that people bought multiple, and they're not Star Trek fans, they're NFT whales and stuff like that. I don't know. A little disappointed on the some of the stars really trying to hype this. I understand contractual stuff, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it's 100% contractual. I think some of them might have been actually sold on it. It's a little disappointing. But yeah, don't buy NFTs. They might have a place in the future. A future that I really don't look forward to. Call me old-fashioned. But I still like the physical world. And holding things. As I said it on Twitter, I think Star Trek should have went down the path of just doing something unique with Star Trek Online. Hey, if they wanted to connect it to some blockchain, whatever. They could have made it unique. Made 10,000 of them. All unique over the last few months by the creators, digital artists and stuff like that, and sold them uniquely in Star Trek Online. And maybe had a way to download them, a digital representation of it, so you could print a picture or whatever. I think that would have been a lot more popular, and I think it would have been a lot more successful monetarily. But no one listens to me. So that's all I got. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and maybe we'll have another video or not. Whatever. Till later.